Welcome to the Success Journey Show. Let's travel together through the lives of individuals on the road to success.
Hey, what's going on, travelers? It's Ricky Ventures and Marlon Madden, and we're back with you again for another episode of the Success Journey Show. Marlon, what's good, bro? How you doing today?
Hey, Ricky, man. I still got these boxes, bro. I know you told him.
Man.
I know you told him.
Man.
I know you told him. No, I got one open. It's going down. But I know you told him every time we come on the show, you want to see some of these boxes going down.
Yeah, I still
starting to put stuff on Stop 'em. I don't want to do that. So guys, hey, let's get these book bags out of here. All right. Other than that, Rick, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling fine, like a bottle of wine. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I'm loving the dream, drive, discipline, and diligence. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, man, I'm doing good over here too. Thanks for asking, man. You know, it's it's that time of the year for me, man. The weather's getting warm, but warm weather means my sinuses is just flaring up, dude.
Yeah.
So even now, man, my head is pounding, man. Not sleeping well. So yeah, dude, I'm just maintaining and trying to push through these next few weeks, man. So
yeah,
once I get to that certain point, my body gets adjusted, then I'm good to go. But yeah, other than that, man, I am ready to rock and roll. We got a special guest with us today. Before I introduce him, Marlon, just share with our new listeners where they can find our podcast. We're listening to it right now, so they must be able to find it. But the website, tell them about the website and all other platforms.
Tell them everything. I know because of our 100th episode, everybody's been sharing it, everybody's been liking it, everybody's been sending it to everyone. So we got a lot of new listeners. The successjourneyshow.com is our website. If you want to find us on Instagram or Facebook, it's Success Journey Show. If you want to find us on Twitter, it's success_show. On YouTube, we're trying to flood everybody to go to YouTube if we can. Our YouTube is The Success Journey Show. That's our channel right there. Want you guys to go on there, like, subscribe, even leave a comment if there's something that you think that we miss or something that you like. Do that for us so that you can build up that algorithm, so that we'll be an algorithm, so we'll be able to have more people view our content.
Yep. And everyone, just want to thank you again for being with us. And we've come to the best part of our show, and that's when we bring on a guest to share their story, their journey, as they're trying to reach their level of success. So today we have none other than a good friend we met a few years ago at a STEM conference. I think we were in Indiana. Man, we met, and it just been, I tell you, man, that was it. We were talking there, and we kept continue on talking through the years, man. Got to know him very well, and I'm so glad he's able to spend some time with us today. And it's none other than Adolfo Rivera. Adolfo, thank you so much for joining us, bro. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Ricky?
Doing well, man. Really appreciate you spending some time with us. Why don't you start off by sharing with our listeners, we call them travelers, just a little bit about yourself.
My name is Adolfo Isaac Alvarado Rivera, so it's a full name there. I was born in Puerto Rico. Lived there for a couple of years at the beginning of my life, and then parents packed up, went to the West Coast, moved to Vegas, lived there for the majority of my childhood till I was about 15. So lived in Vegas. I was an outdoors kid.
At Vegas,
I was outside. Adventures were my life. That's all I could do. My parents could not keep me inside. I'm talking from morning to probably the next day. I would just take off. I loved just being outside, hiking, just whatever adventures I can get in with my friends and trouble, of course.
Yeah.
Moved to Florida halfway through high school. Finished up high school here in Orlando, Florida, and did okay. The next thing I knew, I had joined the Coast Guard, active duty. And I went and did that for 7 years, doing search and rescue, AIDS navigation, traveled around the U.S. doing that.
Yeah.
That was a fun experience. A lot of stuff, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of learning, a lot of growth. Got married during that time. My wife and I have been together. August will be coming 12 years.
Oh wow! Congrats!
Oh, congrats, man.
Yeah, one little boy. He's 5. He's in the room right now watching TV. Got out of the Coast Guard. Kind of lost my way for a couple months there. Didn't really know what to do because 7 years of
Yeah.
life planned out for me. I mean, I'm talking from
Gotcha.
when I wake up to when I go to sleep. Even my
Yep.
sleeping hours were planned for me. So to get out and have freedom over my time, all of a sudden wasn't good for me. And I'd say it was definitely a rabbit hole, a little dark time for a couple months there. But my wife went onto Valencia College's website and actually applied for college for me. Next thing I know, I got a letter in the mail stating, "Hey, I've been accepted to Valencia."
Yeah.
But she's like, "Go start school. You know, you've been wanting to, and you have the opportunity now. You know, using your post 9/11 GI Bill, started school and automatically just enrolled in their engineering program, and you know, things just kind of snowballed into a really good effect after that. Met some wonderful people. Joined LSAMP, and that's where I actually got a chance to meet you, Ricky, at was it the fall 2016 LSAM conference in Indiana?
2016. Wow.
No, was it Indiana? Illinois. Chicago,
Illinois. Yeah, we were. That's right. We were in Chicago. Yeah, that's right.
That's where we met. You were there with Brian Thomas, and I got a chance to meet all of you, and I kind of just that first introduction at that conference was a pivotal point for me as an engineer, as a actually scientist, mostly in research. That really broadened my horizon of what students, even undergrads, what can they accomplish in the couple years they're in for the undergrad, and whether they decide to continue on to graduate school and postdoc and all these things. That was my introduction there. And after that, it was just searching for new opportunities and new opportunities and new opportunities. And next thing I know, I am a Pathways intern at NASA, and I haven't even graduated yet. So.
Wow. Man, you threw a lot. He threw a lot out there, travelers, man. And I'm glad he gave the full spectrum from beginning all the way to where he is now. And we're going to take some time to dive in and out of different aspects of his life. But one I want to make fun of something real quick. Every time I see him, his hair is longer. All right. Every time when I first met you.
It actually started because of that conference. That conference was not just the point of my approach to engineering. It was just more of a fact of a personal brand. That was my first introduction. All of you were covering that idea of it's not just your knowledge, but you're not. I don't want to mean it like you're a product, but you kind of are. What are you bringing as you as a person? Everyone understood. I understood because I didn't present. I was just an attendee for that conference. So I got to see what is the brains that they brought and the packaging that came around that brain, and and all that stuff. What differentiated yourself between the person next to you. And though everyone I met there was highly intelligent and could speak and everything, but there was some stuff that I noticed that were lacking when it comes to having a well-rounded person in presentation. And that was, again, another light bulb there. And I asked tons of questions. And Dr. Strainhorn was a keynote speaker there. I spoke to him. I every now and then I still send him a message just saying thank you for speaking that day. Because again, that conference is just going to sit on a very special spot in my heart because it was just boom for me.
I can't believe that was 2016, man.
Yeah, I know. And I've attended that conference a couple of times afterwards, and now I did it as an attendee. Then I went as a presenter, and then I actually, help along with the planning process now at Cole. So,
nice.
And I got to hold a little session during the last one that they did over here because of the pandemic and everything.
Yeah.
But I love LSAMP. That program has brought so many opportunities to me. Just it took me out of my shell. I am an introvert. I'm the person who stands in the corner, has my arm crossed, and I people watch, and I pick and choose what I'm going to listen to. And if I hear good things, I listen a little bit there, a little bit here. That's the person I am. I'm not a hi, it's me. Get to know. No, that's not me. That's not my personality.
Oh man, but let's walk through it, man. So you said, hey, you went from oh my goodness, Vegas, from Puerto Rico, Vegas. Spent a lot of your childhood in Vegas. Then went to Florida, and then you ended up in the Coast Guards, man. Talk about that decision to go to the Coast Guards, man. Right after high school. I knew I had this weird feeling because I was planning to go to college. It was part of the plan. My parents were really pushing that, but I didn't feel ready.
I didn't think I had the maturity to be successful in college because I already knew how I handled high school. I was an average student, creativity through the roof. I've always loved science and actually specifically magnetism, electricity magnetism since I was a child. I've always loved, I would create my own electromagnets using batteries, copper wires, anything I could find. I would take apart everything just so I can mess with magnets and understand how it worked. Always loved it. But I didn't have parents who were very STEM oriented. Yeah. They were much more business oriented. So no, it was hard for them to understand and fan that flame. So I had to do it myself. I was part of a math group in middle school, and that was because I reached out. And I am a little bit of a bigger person for my height, and I have broad shoulders. So a lot of people thought I played sports. I actually played very minimal sports. I played football my freshman year in high school. Yeah. And I'm like, cool, I did it. That's a cool opportunity. And I didn't play it again. I played volleyball my sophomore, junior, senior year just because I love the aerobic exercise out of it. And I love volleyball. That's probably the only sport I do play. But I was just I loved math and I loved science. And I got out of high school and I just did not see myself succeeding in college. So I had a mentor who was like a father figure to me, who I've known since I was 7 years old. He's a chief warrant officer now in the Coast Guard. And he was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Why don't you give it a shot? I took the ASVAB, I passed, and I got, hey, you're good to go. I did all the stuff that I needed to join. And next thing I knew, I graduated in May. October 17th of 2007, shipped out, active duty. And I signed in for 6 years.
Okay.
So I signed in for 6 years. And next thing I know, I'm at boot camp, regretting that decision. Yeah, that first night, you don't get sleep. I was looking out the window, seeing all the other recruits running around who are ahead of me, and me really rethinking my life decisions. Why did I do this?
Why am I here?
They gave us the advice. The days are long, but the weeks go by fast. It's the truth. Every day was very long. It was strenuous, and they do exactly what they're going to do. They say they're going to break you down to build you up. And that is the truth. And they really, really broke me down. But by the end of it, I was very proud of what I did and what I could accomplish. Because you have an academic part of it at boot camp. I flourished in a very regimented style. So that let me know that at least I had the ability to be successful in that aspect. Yeah. But I really loved the physical portion of being in the Coast Guard. It gave me really a chance to also flourish in that aspect. Left boot camp and I got stationed in New Orleans, Louisiana. That was my first duty station. Yep. At 18.
Yep.
Come on, but you already experienced Vegas. Come on, man.
Yeah, but I was a teenager. I was a teenager.
But New Orleans is a different monster.
Yeah, I was a teenager in Vegas, and I loved being outside. I loved adventure. All my friends we loved being outside. So we looked for adventure. But when I got to New Orleans as an adult, 18 nonetheless.
A different adventure.
No maturity whatsoever.
Yeah.
New Orleans is not it was fun. I had a blast. I had amazing adventures. I had a great crew of people that I was there with who took care of me. I was the youngest person on the ship, so they definitely did take care of me. But New Orleans was it's a whole new ballpark to try to grow up in. It was fun. Definitely had some wild adventures. And I got to actually experience, I went to LSU a couple of times. I had a friend who was in the Coast Guard, but his duty station was different from mine. He had a land unit. And because of that, he had the opportunity to take online classes. So where we were stationed at, and this will eventually wrap around why it's fun for me to do the math about it. I was stationed in Metairie, just outside of Metairie, Louisiana. It's between Metairie and Slidell. It's this place called Chalmette. It's a small area. The NASA facility is there. And the Coast Guard rents a spot right there in the Cove area to have their ships. So we would have to go through the NASA base to get to our barracks, to get to our ship. So I got to see the final fuselage be put together. escorted onto the barge, and escorted by Coast Guard security vessels all the way through. And so I was there. I got to take tours of their design building. I got to take tours of all that stuff. And that was another like little pin there to let me know that, man, NASA is awesome. I've always loved it. I love space travel. And I thought I was going to do 20 years in the Coast Guard because it gave me something. I was successful. It was something. I had accolades to show how successful I was. They understood how to like really build you up when you are successful in your job, and they give you more responsibility. So you can definitely be, you can definitely feel the consequences of your success. And I like that. I loved it. And, but again, things like that you start getting the Superman complex of everything, but humans aren't Superman. Break down. Yeah. So eventually I left New Orleans. I picked bosun mate. So, because I want to drive boats and do search and rescue. I ended up getting stationed in Lake Michigan in St. Joseph, Michigan. So it's on the west lower corner of Michigan. Yeah.
If you ask somebody from Michigan, they'll probably go like this and try to point.
Yeah. So if I had to try to mirror it, if you're looking at here, it's around this corner. Lake Michigan's here. Chicago's a little bit on this side, but
that's how you know somebody's from Michigan.
Yeah. So
really? If you ask them, where you from Michigan, they go like this, and then they start to explain.
There's the mitten right there, the mitten for that part. And I got stationed there. My wife and I moved up there, and that was a monster I was not expecting.
Really?
I didn't know what I was getting into. Yeah. A lot of stuff. It was more of the fact that not just learning about where we're stationed at, more of like demographics of the population. Not very comfortable for my wife and I. Not because just more the fact that my wife and I are both Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
So the town we were in was not Puerto Rican. It was this very tiny bridge, that very small bridge, and we would call it the 1,000-mile bridge, even if our smaller was, because of the fact of how fast the demographic changed.
Wow.
And, so throughout that time, we experienced a lot of things that we would just affected us.
Yeah.
And it became very apparent even right off the bat.
Yeah.
But we chugged along, continued through, lived the life that as best we could through that time. And regrettably during that time, I ended up having a couple accidents that hurt my back because I didn't know this. I understood that Lake Michigan is a big lake. I just didn't know how big it was. So, no, you cannot see the other side. And it doesn't matter how far you get across. Even once you get halfway, you're halfway, but you still can't see the other side. Because of that, it being so large, the waves can build up, especially if you're going from the upper left-hand corner. St. Joe, Michigan just gets destroyed by waves, especially between August and like November, before the lake freezes over. Waves really start picking up. It becomes incredibly dangerous. So it becomes what we call heavy weather season. So waves you're looking at well above 6 feet. Some of them road waves can topple 20 to 25.
Wow.
Those were very scary, especially coming from, being younger, doing search and rescue and doing a lot of stuff like that. Had a lot of accidents. And again, I was in that Superman mind frame, meaning that
I got you. I'm coming.
I can do anything. I will do anything. Yep. This body's more than capable of it. Even working through the pain, and then eventually actually becoming an adrenaline junkie. I fed off the danger.
Yep. I know the feeling.
That is a dangerous rabbit to chase.
Very dangerous.
Because I could go home, but my phone could never be off because the fact that one of the crew members got hurt, I would always say, "Call me first."
So you can fill in.
Yeah, exactly. So, but one part I wasn't noticing, I wasn't building that healthy divide between my
work and home. Yes.
It
happens in the military a lot.
It bled so much that I could be home having dinner with my wife and my phone would ring and I wouldn't even say goodbye. I'd get up, put on my uniform, and I was out that door because I knew for a fact I was getting ready to get through that adrenaline rush. And some of those times they would last hours. And it's just, but you felt strong and capable, and you did really fun stuff. I mean, I have videos upon videos of me on and doing, training and stuff, and I don't miss it.
Yeah.
But the feeling, I long for that. And then actually the body let me know that slow down.
It was time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he's like, you're gonna end up hurt. And actually, regrettably, I did end up hurting my back pretty bad. And next thing I knew, I couldn't drive. My arms would go numb.
Wow.
I couldn't even stand at attention without my arms, like my hands actually just opening up, because I would lose circulation. I couldn't stand at parade rest because my arms just
and
I didn't know what it was until medical testing and all this stuff, and they're letting me know that I was occluding the artery to my left arm.
Ooh.
And then actually, it's something that's very common with men who were small and got big very fast.
Mm-hmm.
I joined the Coast Guard at 140 pounds.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to St. Joe, Michigan, which is about a little less than 3 years after I joined, I was at 205 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So I gained a significant amount of size.
Yeah.
And no, it was not fat. I started to lift. I got bullied heavily for my size when I first joined. So I was like, no, this is not going to happen. I know I can gain muscle.
Yeah.
So I started going. We had a gym on base. I had no excuse. From sun up to sundown on my days off, I was in that gym.
Yeah.
Year after year, I just accumulated size, and that was one of the affecting points to where the muscles in that area kind of collapsed because I wasn't training properly. It's not like I had a trainer or someone who actually knew what they were doing. It's just everyone thinks they know what they were doing in that gym. Right, with those injuries compiled on top, I didn't take care of myself and got hurt. Next thing I knew, I was in surgery to get a rib removed from the left side of my rib cage to help ease the flow of the blood there. Actually, it was 9 days. Woke up from that surgery and I could actually palm a tennis ball. Before I could hold it, but I could not squeeze because, I mean, like how muscles work, they're like pistons. You need flow of blood to be able to actually work. Hydraulic. No blood flow, no strength. So I woke up and actually could like squeeze the ball. It was a night and day thing. So that began a very long physical therapy section. But because of that surgery, I lost all of my qualifications. I could no longer do search and rescue because I was a liability. But that brought a downward spiral because I no longer felt like Superman. I could no longer do the job. I was stuck on the desk, and I still was proud to do my duty to help out my crewmates, but
it wasn't the same.
It's not the same.
The adrenaline.
I could not get an adrenaline from that. So that just went to a very downward spiral, regrettably, into depression, regrettably suicidal ideation, and actually an attempt on my own life on multiple occasions. And that was the fact of not understanding what was going on in my head and what I was feeding off of. And they just regrettably just went down a rabbit hole. And then when I started noticing that the Coast Guard probably won't be my career is when I finally made that decision. Like, you know what? Gonna have to do a change in our plans here. And when we decided when my contract was up, I had to stay for an extra year to do continued, medical testing and everything. So I did 7 years active duty, and I was medically discharged at actually like 2 days shy of 7 years.
Yeah.
And I got out, and that's where I got my time back, which was I was already in a deep dark hole trying to get help out of that, and then boom! Look at all this free time you technically have.
Yeah.
What you're supposed to do with it.
Yeah.
So from October to December, it was just, I actually tell you, I don't even remember what happened during October of 2014 till December of 2014. I don't remember. I honestly don't. It was just survival mode. What is being a civilian? What is making a friend, actually? Or what is a friend that isn't in your common area? And just understanding what the life you've been through, what you've gone through. So these things happen, and that's when my wife thought, maybe giving me some sort of a schedule, going to school, would help me out. And it was a blessing in disguise because I wasn't ready to go to school, but we picked on 4 classes, never had started college. I hadn't done math in over, since high school in 2007 and 2014.
Yeah.
But I thank her every day for it, because that first semester it gave me a way out of the fog.
Yeah.
And it was just it was the beginning of a therapeutic process. And now here I am, 6 years now?
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm a senior now, and I am a person who, at the beginning, I wanted the whole 4.0 thing and take on the full load classes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then partway through it, after a couple of my internships, I noticed I wasn't learning anything. I wasn't. Yes, I can go to class. You do tests, you learn, but they're very pattern driven. And since I like math, it wasn't that hard to follow the pattern.
Yeah.
Tests are pattern based. All the math you're learning is not new. It's old math. You're learning history. That's all you're learning. So if you understand the algebra, there's only so many questions a professor can ask you. They all must be solvable. So nothing you're going to get is actually that tricky. They're all solvable. So I got very good at testing.
If you're good with math, because
yes, if you're good with math.
So I
knew there was a limit.
Says Einstein.
Yeah, so it became, I started learning the fact that there was a limited amount of questions they could ask, because the topics must be covered in those questions. Even if you gave you a question with all of those topics, as long as you knew the concept, it doesn't matter how hard the question is. There's only A plus B equals C.
Yeah.
And then it just continued on, and I didn't like that, because I wasn't learning.
Man, I would not want you in my study group. I tell you that much.
I'm not good with study groups. No, it wasn't that it was easy. No, not at all. I spent hours upon hours. So I have more sleepless nights than I can count. But I just knew they can only ask you so much.
Okay,
you must cover the concepts.
Okay,
they can't. They're not gonna. Here's your textbook, but no, I'm gonna ask you something from here. No, that doesn't work that way, because it's an injustice to the student. So as long as I knew those concepts rock solid, there is no tricking it.
Yeah.
You can try wording it differently, but regardless, the answer is the same. As long as you practice enough different types of iterations, even if they ask you something different, it still covers the same topics.
Man, tell me this, man, that you're saying that, and this goes to the STEM people out there. I know you've experienced, it had to be somewhere in your journey, thinking that you had a concept rock solid. And you're answering no questions rock solid. Do the test like, I got this. This thing is great. You get to the test and you're like, what in the world?
Misplace one negative. Misplace one negative. And it does not matter how good your math is. Your negative just throws everything off. And I have never actually failed a class so far. I have gotten 1 D, in which, regardless, because of that, you do have to do a retake. But have I failed tests? Oh, yeah. I have failed test after test after test. This semester, regrettably, I have failed 3 tests.
Oh, man.
And the thing was, it's not because I didn't know the concept. It's because I was so literal to the concept that I wasn't flexible to some of the aspect. I was just so literal, like this is rigid, the rule. Like
this is it.
This is it. And the professor gave us a chance to make an assumption. So I was just so literal that I got stuck. So what I did was write all the equations for the following questions. But just because you have the equations to solve it, but no numbers, it doesn't count. So that happened to me twice already, because I was just so rigid in the concept. Messed me up. Didn't happen the third time though. I learned my lesson.
Hey, adult. I'm currently active duty Marine, right? So you went through something that we have a Marine Corps or a veteran following, and I want you to talk to some of them about, while you were active duty and that suicidal ideation to try to take your life, what were some of the things that brought you through? What programs did you use and stuff like that? Because a lot of them are listening right now, and I don't know who and I don't know when, but a lot of them goes through that. And when they see somebody that comes through it, it's good for them to hear firsthand from somebody that actually experienced it, versus me just telling them, yo, just be strong. You understand what I'm saying?
Actually, that's the one thing I didn't like, was being told to be strong, because it's not helpful. I wish I can tell him, like, be strong, you're gonna get through this. Nope, you cannot do it alone. I am sorry. You can feel like Superman, you can think you are a god, but my man, you are human, and thus makes you imperfect.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how hard you try. When you're stuck in mud and you're alone and got no way out, the harder you fight, the deeper you sink. And eventually it was just, I kept fighting it and kept fighting it. I got deeper and deeper until I had to seek help. I had to seek therapy. I had to see a psychiatrist. I had to get medication. And those are all in the process for recovery. But no, it is not the answer to everything. When I began that journey was 2013 is when I began the journey of, I want to know that I have a problem. Doesn't mean I accepted it at all. That took more years to understand, to accept it. But to know that I have a problem and be willing to reach out for help. Because people can reach out to you and tell you and scream and beg for you to get help. But if you don't want it, you're not going to go get it.
Not going to get it.
And I fought that. I fought that way for years. And then eventually I finally said, I mean, because eventually you do come to the fork in the road. And it's a very scary fork. And it's a fork in the road that everyone experiences in one way or another, depending on just how the severity is. And you'll reach that fork many, many times. I'm glad I always chose left to get help and didn't choose right, even though sometimes I really went that way and just not far enough to where it became the last road I take. So it is hard. It's not the easiest thing to talk about. But I understand. I'm at a point now to where I know when I come, not even when I get to the fork of the road, I know I'm going at a speed where I won't be able to make that decision. So I understand that those forks in the road don't have to be the main road you're on at all.
Wow. Can you go? I love what you're saying right here, because you're saying when I was there, because you said almost 6 years ago, since now you got out of whatever of the Coast Guard and going to school, you're saying, so some people, just like an AA, you always have that chance to revert. So I think that's what happened. A lot of them, they'll go through it and they'll overcome it and then think that it will never come to them again.
Oh no.
And then when
that
it comes
is
to that, talk about that.
If we want to think about it, if you think about your main road that you're driving, when you're going through it, that fork in the road is always there. You drive, it's there. You drive, it's there. You drive, it's there. You drive, it's there. As you start getting help, you find a nice detour where that is no longer the main road. But there is always an exit that goes back. Always. And that exit comes and goes. Sometimes it isn't for a long time. It's great. And then just something happens where there it is. And you want to take that exit. You do, because again, you know the feeling. And it's that, I don't know how to say the word. It's just this self-deprecating way. You just want to take it because you kind of want to beat yourself up about it, even though it's something that you may not need to, but these are the hard parts. But that road will always be there. It will always, that exit always comes up. It comes and goes and comes and goes. It comes and goes. It's learning that you know that exit's got to come up and knowing you don't have to take it. Actually, you don't even have to look at the sign. There. Continue, but to know that there are many forms to recovery and there's not just one answer. It is a full spectrum of having a support group, people who not just sympathize with you, but can empathize and have gone through it with you and have gone on the other side. There's you got the spiritual aspect of recovery, you got the physical aspect of recovery, the mental aspect. There's so many things, and I did each one individually, thinking each one of them by themselves was the answer. It wasn't. You can fix one and the other two be lacking, and you're not going to find the answer. You have to try to find a balance between the physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health. You have to, because it's within all of that you actually start seeing that the psychiatry part is important and you need it along the way. The spiritual part and whatever that person may choose, whatever it may be, is very important because that's a very internal thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the
Yeah.
physical help is the fact that you are a living, breathing carcass. It
Yeah.
needs to eat right and needs to sleep right.
Yeah.
And you need exercise, whatever that is, getting up in the morning, doing your exercise, whatever time, but exercise is paramount, however many times a week, whatever you do. But I don't have all the answers. And this fun trifecta is not something, it's something that I just finally reached a couple months ago.
Mm.
Wow.
Wow.
Because I tried each one individually as the answer. And it wasn't. It's a full spectrum of colors. Even having a support group telling me this, I didn't want to listen. I'm like, no, I'm hard-headed. I can do it myself.
Yeah.
And each one, though, was helpful.
Yeah.
There was something always lacking.
Wow.
Mm.
And I finally decided to throw the physical aspect to it because I was doing well in my spiritual health and I was doing well in my mental health. But the very body carrying this, I was eating pizza and I was, the self-loathing part was being circumvented with overeating, not exercising, not sleeping, playing video games until now again, nothing wrong with playing video games. I'm a big gamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since I decided to really throw in the physical aspect of it, my Xbox hasn't turned on.
Mm.
Because I stopped, not because I don't love it. It's because even now, my time management skills I thought were fantastic. I'm a student. I have good grades. My time management skills were a fallacy of a dream that I thought I had.
Mm.
I really started getting up at 6.
Yeah.
Really started eating a good breakfast and noticing how much could I really get done by 12.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And how many hours do I really have in a day to be successful outside of my sleeping time?
Yeah.
I just learned this. And I'm not saying I'm not perfect at it. I just learned it this semester. I'm like, how much time have I wasted just not sleeping?
Yeah.
Not sleeping because if I go to sleep at 4 a.m., I'm up at 12. I don't get my day started till 3 p.m.
Yeah.
By the time I study, it's already 10 o'clock. I haven't spent any time with my family. And then at my midnight, I'm playing video games again till 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So when I finally took that, I'm like, you know what? So I hired a trainer who's a good friend of mine. I'm like, I need help on this aspect.
Yeah.
Can you be my trainer? He said yes. Now I took that for me. Again, I'm not a person who just dives deep into something, but I took the chance and I haven't looked back. I started my nutritional, like fixing my nutrition in October.
Yep.
And I didn't actually start training till January. Because it took those months to fix my eating habits.
Lock that in. Yep.
That's the hardest part. It was the fact that if I felt bad, I ate pizza.
Mm.
If I felt happy, I ate pizza.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch a movie with my wife. I would order Chinese. Exactly. So these were things that, I fed off of it, and nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I had to learn the fact that I don't always need that, and my body needs something a little more nutritious. It needs something more, need more water, all the things that you cover in nutrition.
Yeah.
So it got better with that. And when I felt that I got a good nutrition balance down, I was like, okay, now let me throw the physical aspect into that, because I'm also not a person who can do all those things at once and think, oh, I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to cook. I'm going to work out. I'm going to study.
No.
That's a lie. It's in steps.
Yeah.
That, at least I knew that already. Has to be in steps and gradual increments to make change. Once I got there in January, I was like, okay, just like everybody makes the New Year's resolutions, I was that person. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I had to take the pictures, the forward picture, the side picture, the back picture, and send it to my trainer. And I don't take pictures. I'm not very active in social media. I am there to I consume, I'm there to watch funny videos and stuff, but I'm not a person who posts images of myself or nothing. It's just more of I admire people who do that. That means that they exude a confidence that I just don't have. I don't like seeing my face on pictures. It scares me. So I have a very small social media footprint. I have a Facebook, which I don't even have on my phone. I haven't for years. I deleted it off my phone. That's 2016, that semester. I deleted it off my phone. I noticed I was wasting too much time on it. I do have an Instagram, but I don't post anything on there. There's a couple photos that I did over time when I first had it. And I don't, it's just, it was all these things. I sent these photos and I finally looked at myself and I'm like, I felt good here. Felt good here. But everywhere else, good. And my son is 5 and incredibly energetic. So I was like, you know what? Eventually he's going to get a little bit bigger. And my wife and I do want our family to grow. So I'm like, Daddy's got to keep up.
Yeah.
So he's going to get stronger than me and Daddy's not going to be able to keep up. So yeah, next thing I know, I'm down 20 pounds and feel good.
Wow.
Love it, man.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this for the military, because everybody in the world can have those suicidal ideations. But I really wanted the military guys to hear from somebody who was in the military, because a lot of times you have somebody from the outside trying to tell them, you know what I'm saying? And just like you said, I can go to my...
There's a lot of aspects that I didn't cover just because the fact they're actually pretty painful. Especially, like I said, at a duty station, there was a lot that, I mean, I've lived a privileged life. My parents were middle class. I never, when I was younger, when we lived in Puerto Rico, we did live in poverty, but I didn't know at the time. I had no hot water. There was no hot water. Where we live in Puerto Rico, actually, when I went back this past week, there's still no hot water. You go shower, you turn it on, it's this itty bitty little electrical heater that heats up a copper pipe, and that's the warm water you get. And as soon as you shut off the water, that heater turns off. There is no Wi-Fi, and there are no providers in that area. I'm glad my phone worked there. T-Mobile, I had my LTE. I was able to still continue homework while I was there, but I didn't know that at the time. I was happy. I had food. I could go outside, whatever. Moved to Vegas. Parents were doing well. I lived a very privileged life. It wasn't until I joined the military and I was an adult and I got to experience different things. And when we got to that station is where it was very eye-opening for me. Though I had maybe experienced some types of discrimination when I was younger, I just let it go by me. I didn't care, whatever. I just went on through. But as an adult, and really seeing it, it wasn't even just what I experienced by myself. It's when I was with friends. Yes, and it was hitting even harder to the point that it was really starting to grind me down. And then regrettably, I experienced it in my own unit. And reached out for help. Didn't get any. And those snowball out of effect. And eventually those are what led to not just lower physical performance, but mental health issues. And so everything builds up. It isn't just one bad thing happens and you break. It's a build up. And you internalize it and you internalize it and you internalize it. And then there is that one thing. But there's already 200 pounds of weight sitting on one piece of wood. Correct. So they just said,
something brought it to the 210. Boom.
That was it. And that's what happened. Now that I look back at it, I'm glad I went through it so I can learn and see something better now and how to approach these situations. They haven't stopped. They've happened to me plenty of times. I am Hispanic, but I have a beard and long hair. So I get mistaken for many different ethnicities. Races. And I have been called many different names. That's not that I turn a blind eye. But I know what's going to happen. It's just more the fact of what am I going to do in that situation? Correct. How am I going to feed off of it? How will I internalize it? Will I speak about it? And how would I deal with it with my friends and coworkers? So those are all learning experiences that I'm still learning with now. But those played heavy parts regrettably in the moment my mental capacity broke. And regrettably, some of those scars, they heal, but there are scars. And you can feel them that they're there. They remind you, and they're sometimes regrettably, there are dark moments at night, especially at night when you're alone and wife is asleep, son is asleep. It's very easy to chase that rabbit. And run through those memories. And it gets scary sometimes. So again, I have friends who dealt through this and I have people that I can reach out to. So that's what I do. And I also have ways to kind of get myself out of it. Like there's a book I'm reading right now called The Mathematical Experience. I like to learn And
I see that,
aside of having professional mentors like Ricky and Brian and a couple others that I have, I also have an academic mentor who's helping me rebuild my mathematical basis. I really want to head in more physics mathematic base, so I'm starting with this book. This is where he told me, we start here. Once you get through this 500-page book, he's like, then we can begin our journey.
Then we can talk.
That was exactly what he told me. He's like, get through this book, write down your questions, and then we can talk. But so I reach for these types of books, knowing that, no, these aren't my answer, but they give me something to think about. And they're so complex that they override what I'm talking about, whatever I'm feeling, what I'm actually even verbally saying to myself.
Yeah.
Because even though I'm reading it, eventually I'm seeing what other people can do, knowing full well that I'm like, all right, I'm saying these things to myself, or I'm remembering deep rooted scars.
Yeah.
They are scars, and I've healed from them and I've overcome them. This is where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Not there.
I love this show, Success Journey Show, and we came on here, and I don't know what how did it come to this, to where we are right now. Everything is success, but I'm happy it did, because before we get out of here, we're going to be able to say that we sat down and there's somebody that's going to listen to this show that it's going to be able to help them because of all the words that you just said. And they're going to be able to sit back and they're going to say, okay, yep, this is a reason for me to take the left, or not even go off of that exit, or don't even look at the sign, because of all the words you said. Now, I just want to thank you for being so transparent. Yeah, I thank you for being so transparent.
It is. It took me a long time to be okay with talking about it.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. But now I have to be. Now even my wife tells me all the time. She's like, "We have to get you to that point because you could help somebody else."
Yes.
Or you can even prevent it from happening just by the fact that they could be at that precipice and they could hear it and they don't have to take that leap.
Correct. Correct.
Because again, we're imperfect beings, and it's a very common saying. It's the call to the void.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the truth. I mean, you poke at the water, sometimes things poke back.
Yeah.
You may not like what pokes back.
Poke back at you, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's very easy to get pulled in because self-hate it feeds and feeds and feeds, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you say these things, and it feeds off your soul, and it hurts. And it takes a long time to have enough tools. And there's not one tool, man. You need so many. You need an entire toolbox and garage. That's the truth. You need an entire garage of people who can help. But getting to that point, it is not one answer. There's not one pill. There's not one person. There is just a journey of learning it and understanding it and going through denial and understanding it and going through denial and then accepting it and denial. Man, it's just it keeps churning until eventually you're like, okay, this is the pattern. I know how to get out of it. Let's continue. Let's get past this, and sometimes you can take that and make it a strength, and that's what I had to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The travelers, man. I'm really, really honored, man, Adolfo, for you being able to be on this show. See, Marlon and I, we never know where these shows are going to go. We all the guests we bring on in some form or fashion, we kind of know their story a little bit, but we try not to lead them in any direction and let naturally, where what's pressing on their heart, really just drive the conversation. And we're so grateful for you to go down this route today, and just sharing your story. And the thing that stood out to me, and I hope all of our travelers heard it, humans are not Supermen. You cannot do this alone. So there's someone out there that's listening to this that feels alone. There's someone that's out there listening to this that likes to be in that place of isolation and feel the power or the adrenaline of doing whatever activity that you're doing. But just always remember, humans are not Supermen, and you cannot do this alone. And us here at the Success Journey Show, we're here to help you. You can reach out to us at any point. That's why we developed this show, to be a conduit, to connect people to people from all types of experience and all walks of life together, so that we all can enjoy this journey together, the ups and the downs. But knowing that we're on this journey, and that we always say in our shows, success is not in the destination, it's in the journey. So we're going to get ready to close. But before I do that, I want Adolfo just to answer a question. We ask all of our guests this question. And if you could, you had 30 seconds to talk to your younger self, that 17-year-old, 18-year-old young man that is now just stepped foot in New Orleans or wherever, and you've got 30 seconds to pull him aside. What would you say to him?
30 seconds to myself. This is to
Yep.
myself.
Yep.
So it's my own personal opinion to myself.
Yep.
But, gun it.
Got it.
Don't hold yourself back. Because I had so many opportunities to do some really, really incredible stuff.
Yeah.
That really would have put me at a better foot forward and
Yeah.
could have prevented things. But more the fact that don't follow the crowd. You know you're an individual. Don't be scared. Gun it.
Love it. Love it.
And now I'm doing it.
Love it.
But
Love it.
if I could, I'd tell them, just gun it. Because success has some wonderful consequences. Everything has consequences, whatever decision, but success has some wonderful consequences.
Love it.
They're fun to deal with.
Man. Oh, I love
Travelers,
that.
man. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today. I know you said you're not necessarily on social media. Is there anything that you want to leave with our listeners in terms of, if they want to see what you're working on, projects, even LSAMP, if you give a plug for them, where they can find more information about that program? I want you to share that with them now so they can connect.
Oh yeah, for LSAMP, they're pretty much home base out of Indianapolis. Reach out for them. They're the Lewis Stokes Association for Minority Participation. They do wonderful work with just personal growth, definitely with professional growth, educational growth, mentorship, opportunities. So many, I couldn't name them all, but they really broaden your horizon in the STEM field.
Yep.
But don't just limit yourself to STEM. Open yourself up to the other ones as well, because they are just as important, especially when it comes to explaining yourself.
Yeah.
You are a person who has to, every single person who does STEM is the face of STEM. So to get other people involved in STEM or to show the importance of it, you have to be the very, very face of it. So portray in a manner to where even kids and other adults are going to want to ask. Everyone's got curiosity.
Yeah,
regardless of what it is. So LSAMP is a fantastic opportunity for all students in any university, college that's around the nation, and whoever listens here, do that. And also every university always has internships.
Yes.
Go look at them yourself. Every university is always looking for outside students to bring in. That's how I found a lot of mine. So LSAMP is a great way to build up that confidence to look for opportunities.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, travelers, man, we come to the end of another show. Again, want to thank you for stopping in and checking us out again for another week. Like always, go to our website, The Success Journey Show. Check out all of the podcasts that we've had in the past. If you want to reach out to one of those guests, let us know. We'll connect you directly. Also, there's a couple of things on there in our shop. Go check out one of the bags, a t-shirt, a book. Go ahead and help buy those things so we can support us growing this platform and reaching out into the community and supporting feeding the homeless and those that are in need of food. So thank you again for joining us again this week. And we'll see you next week at the same time, the same place on the Success Journey Show. All right, everyone, have a good one. Peace.
One love.
You've been listening to the Success Journey Show, where your dreams, drive, determination, and diligence are the foundation to success. For more information, check out thesuccessjourneyshow.com. The Journey Squad is here helping you to your destination.